EA Sports. It's in the game.
Hello there folks, and welcome to a brand new episode of Retro Sundays, in which we play a game every Sunday that is considered retro. No, I don't want to play the demo F1 2009, go away. Yeah, I've revealed the game. Today we are playing EA Sports F1 2001. No particular reason why I'm playing this, apart from the fact we did play, about 18 months ago now, the Sony version, the SCE version, the Sony Computer Entertainment version, the Formula 1 2001 game. But back then, EA and Sony both developed games. Today we're going to have a quick look at EA's counterpart for the game. So it's only the second F1 game released by EA to be on the PS2. F1 Championship Edition, sorry, not F1 Championship Edition, F1 Championship Season 2000 was released on the PS2. F1 2000 was also released, but that was released on the PS1. And the F1 Championship Season 2000 was the first EA game on the PS2. And to be honest, as I've looked at gameplay for both games, and although it doesn't explicitly say it, I think really it was just the case that F1 Championship Season was a bit of a port to the PS2 to get an F1 2000 game out on the PS2. It's not much different, but because the F1 2000 game came out on the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, just before the season started, then there were a few changes. I think there was an updated Arrows livery and all that sort of thing on F1 Championships Season 2000. So this is the first solid game, if you like, completely based off a season as a standalone PS2 release. It was developed by Image Space Incorporated, I believe the developer for R Factor if I'm correct, and published by EA Sports, not surprised there. Released for this console, the PS2, which I'm playing it on, the original Xbox and Windows. I've also actually got the Windows version, and if you are interested, a port for the GameCube and Game Boy Color were potentially planned, but were cancelled during development. Now the gameplay focuses on a new training mode that apparently is in single player somewhere. There we go, player review, I can only presume that is. There's a challenge mode as well. Why can't we do any Grand Prix? Yeah, we'll just do a quick race. I'm not too worried about that today. And it was actually well received by critics and received a nomination from GameSpot for the Driving Game of the Year. As I've said, it was the fourth game actually in the EA series, because they released EA Sports F1 2000, F1 Championship Season 2000, and then the great F1 Manager for the PC. If that's a game that you haven't got and are interested in Formula 1, my goodness, you need it. And I've also got a video on the channel actually, which shows you how to get that working on Windows 10. And there's this game, F1 2002, and then F1 Challenge, and F1 Career Challenge as well, which F1 Career Challenge was just the console version, F1 Challenge 99 to 02. But as a bit of a nostalgia, shall we get into this? The 2001 season, of course, culminating in Michael Schumacher's, would it be fourth championship? Yes, it would be, surely it would be, because he won two before 2000, then went on the 5-year streak. So this was the year where he won his fourth championship. Let's have a quick look at the drivers from the 2001 season. So of course, in the championship winning Ferrari, you had Schumacher and Barrichello, then Hakkinen and Coulthard in the McLaren. That didn't change for a number of years. And then in the Williams, we had Ralf Schumacher and Juan Pablo Montoya. And then we had in the Benetton, Giancarlo Fisichella and Jenson Button's second year. Then in the BAR, we had Panis and Jacques Villeneuve. Jacques Villeneuve really went down, didn't he, after winning the championship in 97, my goodness. Then we got John Lacey and Jarno Trulli in the Jordan. And then Jos Verstappen, not Max, Jos Verstappen and Enrique Bernaldi in the Arrows. Then Nick Heidfeld and Kimi Raikkonen's first Formula 1 year in the Sauber, the Red Bull Sauber in 2001. Eddie Irvine and Pedro de la Rosa in the Jaguar. And then Tony Marquez and Fernando Alonso in the Minardi. So Fernando Alonso and Kimi Raikkonen both making their debut in 2001. Then Heinz-Harald Frentzen and Luciano Berti. That has got to be the Prost. Yes, it is the Prost. We are going to go, pardon me, we're going to pick Kimi Raikkonen, as it says there. Kimi Raikkonen finish. Sabre Petronas, Swiss, and the engine is the C19. But let's have a look at what tracks we can go to. We can actually only pick 3 tracks. It's a little bit unfortunate. We have to do certain things to get points. I'll have a little look at that. Not do any gameplay there, but have a little look at what all that's about. The challenges of what you have to do to unlock things. But we're going to go to the home of British racing first off for a quick 3-lap race at Silverstone. I presume the controls are the same as usual. We've got Grid Girls, of course, here. I don't think we've got any commentary like the Sony version has with Murray Walker it is actually. Murray Walker and Martin Brunner. But look at this, here we go. Lights out and away we go. Why aren't we going anywhere? What on earth happened there at the start? But we start at the back with Kimi Raikkonen, here we go. Look at all these cars. I mean, this doesn't actually look too bad. Somebody already out at the first corner. Goodness me, I haven't played the PS2 for a long while, and my god, this does feel weird. Of course, the old Silverstone layout was to be changed in 2010. Jesus Christ, another engine failure there. Don't get much of this these days, but this is weird. This does feel so weird to try and play. Another engine failure. Actually, oh, jeez, we've crashed into the Renault. We've crashed into the Renault. Yeah, this is quite a bit to get used to the handling. Of course, remembering that the cars don't have the downforce that they have these days. So you have to forget you have to go through the corners a little bit slower. But this, it always feels a little bit clunky, doesn't it, when you play the old games. Luckily, I know where I'm going. I know the circuit. Is that another engine failure for the Jag? I don't remember the cars being this unreliable. I mean, I know I was only born in 2001. But I don't remember looking at the results and seeing, or watching any race in 2001 rather, and seeing this many cars blow up on the first lap. But a very good start for us. We're up to 16th. I thought that was another car then. Down to 17th though. The Minardi got past us on the corner. We just weren't too confident going into there. But there's some assists we've got on. Let's have a look at what assists we've got. We've got speed assist. No, we're okay. Corner in the cage so we can have sound. Oh, there's commentary. You might be able to hear the commentary. TV panels, yes. We'll have the full track map. And then... Ah, that's cool. So a widescreen. We'll go for the widescreen format, actually. Yeah, I like that. I prefer that. It's a little bit like modern day. Is that another engine? No, it's just a locked tyre. But for 2001, this doesn't look too bad. Again, EA's first release. Oh, I think we've got anti-lock brakes off. That's no wonder why we're locking up going into the corners. But obviously you can watch the... Oh, dear. You can watch the Sony version on my channel. The Sony version of F1 2001. Formula 1 2001 it was for them. But back at these times, EA had so many games, didn't they? They had cricket, obviously, FIFA. They had so many games. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is really tough to get used to. I don't know if you can tell. But, yeah, they had so many games back in the day. They had real big licenses, and really all now EA have got to say for themselves is FIFA, which is just the real shortening down of their portfolio, I suppose. They had Tiger Woods, didn't they? I think they had an NFL game, possibly even an NBA game, rugby games, all that sort of thing back in this time. Got the run on the arrows, and the Minardi. It's going to be a tight squeeze coming into... Oh, Jesus, into Stowe. That was not the way we planned it. The arrow's just gone completely straight on at that corner. But we've hit the Minardi. I can only presume for Fernando Alonso. I don't think that Tony Marquez would ever be riding that high, unless that's another Minardi up here. I don't know. But, my goodness, we whacked the rear wing of Fernando Alonso, or whoever it was, off there. And unbelievably, Mika Hakkinen, who leads the race, is already at the start of lap 3. But going up the inside of the Minardi, that must be Alonso then. As I said, I don't think Tony Marquez would be this high up. But let me know in the comments if you guys ever played this game. Do you remember it back in the day? I mean, I'm only 18. I was born in 2001, so don't remember this game at all. But some of you are old enough to remember this game. Here comes our teammates. Don't want to hit him, for goodness sake. That'd be the worst thing to do. But, oh, we do hit him, and he goes on 2 wheels. But we get the run on him on the straight. Lovely stuff up to 13th. Obviously, I think this is on amateur mode, because I don't think we're that good at the game. But we're up to 12th, up the inside of the other BAR Honda. That's a... Oh, I mean, yeah. Downforce and something you forget. You try turning in, and it reacts a little bit differently to how it would these days. Especially due to the fact you just can't do Maggots and Beckett's on full throttle at Silverstone. We're up to... Oh, Jesus. We've whacked the BAR Honda off. I'd say we were ahead of him. I'd say that's not my fault whatsoever. But these old games, they are so arcadey. I mean, these days, you look at Formula 1 2019, for example, and it's just so... Oh, Jesus Christ. You can tell we still haven't got the grasp of this. Only 7 seconds away from Hakkinen. That doesn't really make much sense. Unless we're just completely going for it. Let's see if we can get some points. I think by this time it had gone to the first to 8 system, but I suppose you might find out at the end of the race. Anyway, we're up to 10th. It started raining, has it? Has it started raining? I think it has. I think it started raining here at Silverstone. It's grey skies anyway, but in this 4-lap race we have dynamic weather. Yes, it has started raining, goodness me. don't know if it's having an effect on our driving. We'll spin at the next corner, you watch. But that's a Ferrari up ahead. I mean, we started at the back and we could potentially get past a Ferrari by the end of the race. We've got one lap in which to do it. The car in 10th is trying to come past us again. But this is brilliant nostalgia. And again, you know, these PS2 games, they're so cheap these days. And if you just want an arcadey experience, I mean, all the F1 games, all the, I'd say the sports games, unless they're really rare, we just tap the back of the BMW, which, I'm sorry, Jos Verstappen with the fastest lap. I very much doubt that's the case. You can tell it's definitely raining now. Goodness me. Within the space of 5 or 6 minutes at Silverstone, the weather has changed absolutely massively. It's, oh dear, it's Verstappen behind us, and I don't think he's going to be behind us for very long. We've lost any sort of chance of finishing the top 6. We just lost all those positions. They're all very tightly packed, these cars. We're going to go up the inside of the Minardi. That was a bit squeaky bum time, wasn't it? Go up the inside of the Sauber as well. Gained 3 places just on that straight. You can tell he's definitely on amateur mode. But yeah, these games are so cheap, so I do implore you all to go out and buy a PS2. I mean, you can get them, especially in the UK, for £20–25 tops. And then you can get AV to HDMI converters if you don't have those, and you know, you can start playing some of the classic games for really cheap. And I know they don't hold up to the 1080p, even 4K potentially of these new consoles, who knows. But yeah, they're certainly not bad. And it looks like in this 4-lap race, which hasn't really been much of a race, much more of a collision course really. But we're going to finish in the top 10, see if we can get any higher than that. Going to struggle here. Something about Montoya. Didn't hear anything at all about Montoya then. Get on the power, 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 power. Come on. Up into 9th. Can we get past this BMW Williams? Oh, we've tapped him. That's not going to help. I think that's Montoya just ahead. And across the line, we do. Oh, we don't quite. I thought we did. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting to 9th. Hakkinen wins the race. The great style classification. It's not the official. Oh, it was Ralf Schumacher. Montoya's behind us. Okay. And Tony Marquez actually was ahead of Alonso. To be fair, they're looking at that. Alonso was a minute behind, so I think he's probably the car that we smashed into and broke his rear wing most likely. But a good starting race. Obviously, I presume, I think it was Sony that had the proper licenses for all the official stuff, hence why they had the commentary team of Murray Walker and Martin Brundle. But still, this game holds up nicely. No, we're not going to restart that, thank you. We'll do one more race. We'll have a look at the potentially Monza or I think it was Hockenheim races. But let's have a quick look at how come we can't access all of these little bits. A single player. So there's a challenge mode. That's cool. So there's different challenges, so I presume you have to get points there. And then player review. Ah, okay, so that's just player stats and all that. That's quite cool. And then you've got a Grand Prix mode. I don't think there's a career mode then. That was more on F1 Career Challenge, I presume. But interesting. Also a multiplayer option. I don't really think that the servers are going to be up now, personally. It is obviously, I think, LAN, that it was up by a local area network. But let's have one more race. Let's go to quick race. Actually, before we do, I always loved this on EA games. Inside EA Sports season preview. Let's have a quick watch of this before we continue.
It's in the game.
Well, yeah, they had a pretty big portfolio back then, didn't they? Goodness me. I loved that. That was on pretty much every EA game, showing like a preview of all the games that were to come out. But they had a really big portfolio back in those days. We're going to change now. We're going to go for... Who we're going to pick for the next race? Tell you what, we'll go with Jensen Button in the Benetton. And we're going to go to... Let's do Monza, because we did Hockenheim on F1 2001 for the Sony version, which, as I've just said, if you haven't watched that video, I recommend you go and do it. It's a little bit of a longer one. Again, we've got the grid girl at the front. I presume that's the same for all the races. But not the presentation style like there is in Formula 1 2001. Just a little bit of a quirky start, and you're quite literally off straight away here. 5 lights, and we're away. I don't really know what happens, to be honest, at the start, because we just seem to go up the 7th gear, and then that doesn't happen. But I just love all the smoke that comes from these cars. I mean, we're already up one place. Need to be aware that we actually do need to brake at some point for this first corner. But it's not the first corner that it used to be, of course. I mean, I thought some of those cars were going to go straight to the barrier there. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, a bit of a change in the Monza layout, of course, in the years that have preceded this. But a few places game, we've hit that Minardi and he's got into the barrier. Luckily, no penalties, but it just feels so clunky. I mean, back in the day, it probably felt like, oh my god, this is precision handling. Oh, another hit. Jesus Christ, we've been hit on the rear. Unfortunately, no replay function to look at this, but this is just awesome arcade racing. I mean, back in this day, nobody cared, did they? Everybody loved it. And lovely to go back to that now. It's just so simulation-like these days. It's just arcade. You can boot it up for 10-20 minutes. It's not the best handling in the world, but my god, it's certainly interesting. Another blowout for our teammate, looks like, our Benetton teammate, Giancarlo Fisichella. He'd been there for a few years at that point, actually, because he'd been at Benetton with Alex Wurz in '99. So he'd have been there for a few years at that point, and then Fisichella went on to Renault. I don't know if Renault... I think Renault must have... Yeah, Renault must have come out at Benetton. Yeah, that's right. Because Button then went to BAR after the 2000... It was after this season, wasn't it? Yeah, I think he went to BAR for the 2002 season. He might have been... no, I think he was at the... I can't remember now. I think he was here for the 2002 season, and then went to BAR with Takuma Sato for the 2003 season. Anyway, up to 11th we go. There's a Jordan just ahead in a Ferrari, so we might get to... actually overtake a Ferrari. Oh, but sorry, Jordan. Sorry. We overestimated what we could do coming into that corner, so we've absolutely shafted him. But another car broke down, a BAR broke down there, and we're up to 9th. I don't think that's an advertisement for PlayStation Network on the side of that Prost, but we've got a Ferrari just ahead. These things brake a lot quicker, I've noticed. I don't know if that's braking assist. I don't think it is. But, I mean, is it starting to rain again? I think it is. Oh, that's another blowout. I mean, I don't know if this is just crazy or what, but there's so many bloody blowouts and engine failures. It's bonkers. There must have been already 4 or 5, but we're up into the top 8, and at this point, the pace we're going, we could probably win this. I don't think the wet weather's going to help too much, but if you have enjoyed so far, the look back, the silly look back, because you can't take that, you have to take these games for... Oh, Jesus! Bloody hell. You have to take these games with a pinch of salt, because... they're not exactly simulation games, but I do love going back to these from time to time. I absolutely love it. And if, of course, you've got any other suggestions, I'll probably be going through all the F1 games I've got at some point. Obviously not every week, because that's a little bit boring, but full throttle around the Parabolica. You got to love it. Got Barrichello, Irvine and Alesi up ahead with the 2 Schumachers, Coulthard and 1 Pablo Montoya leading the race. Look at this Renault engine go. Jack Villeneuve for the fastest lap. I think he's probably just behind us. We get past the Ferrari on the straight, and the Jag is just ahead of Eddie Irvine. Again, overestimating slightly what we could do there, but at least we didn't whack a... I think it was a Jordan, wasn't it, into high heaven. But we've got past Barrichello. I don't think he'll be very happy with that. I don't know if we've set the weather to dynamic or what, but it seems to be wet all the time here. That's a bit of a corner cut, isn't it? But I don't think they care. I don't think anybody cares. But my goodness, these games were... Yeah, they were different, weren't they? Oh, another blowout for somebody. That's got to be one of the leaders. Could it be the leader? I'm sure we'll find out at the end of the lap when the timing comes up. But I'll be going through all the F1 titles, a lot of the sports titles, because that's what I do. I love the sports games, and that's what I'll be going through. But I just forgot, you know, they've got NBA, Rugby, Madden, everything EA had back in the day, and now all they've got is FIFA, really. I don't think they have got any other games, definitely not. But we're in the top 6. The Jordan, pardon me, is just ahead. And there's 4 cars ahead of him. Up to 180 coming in. Here we go. Race positions after 3 laps. So Montoya leads. It was Michael Schumacher. Oh, that's a bit cheeky from Rubens Barrichello there going up round the outside. But it was Schumacher's engine that went, and we're trying to force his teammate out of a points paying position. And that is a nice move. Got the 2 cars dicing ahead of us. Heinz-Hauer Frentzen in the Prost with the fastest lap after 3 laps. The Jag and the Jordan fighting over 4th. You wouldn't be saying that usually, would you? Goodness me. Oh! That was a little bit aggressive. We've put the Jag in the wall, but we've got past both drivers now. The Jordan and the Jag. I mean, granted, we got past the Jag with a little bit of aggression there, but nothing too much. Can we go and win this race on the back of the grid? I mean, Jensen did it pretty specially in Canada 2011, but... Yeah, we've cut that corner pretty dreadfully, but yeah. Oh god, this is just unbelievable. I'm speechless. I haven't got many words to say about this experience because it is so ridiculous. And it looks so ridiculous compared to modern day that it's just lovely. It's so arcadey and brilliant. Can we go and win this race? Let's see. Come on. Coming down the big straight. I forgot what the straight's called now. I know we're coming into a Ascari if that helps. McLaren just ahead of David Coulthard, our compatriot, but we've misjudged that corner. I think the corners is going to be the problem in our battle to win this. As you can see, everybody else getting so close throughout the corners. We can do all we want down the straight, but I think 4th place might just be as good as we do here. Going to the Parabolica, might as well just go for it. Hope the Benetton's got some downforce. It certainly has. Coming up to the line, can we snatch a late podium? Come on, power, power, power. I think we're going to do it. We're past Coulthard, we're on the podium. They were chuffed with that. Juan Pablo Montoya won, Ralph Schumacher 2nd, and Jenson Button in 3rd. Oh, that was brilliant. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. Some of the Retro Sundays a bit more serious than that, but my god, it's such an arcadey game, but it doesn't hold up too badly, you know. I mean, the graphics aren't too bad. Sure, the handling's very arcadey and amateurish, but still, a good game. I don't think there's going to be any podium celebrations, unfortunately, but oh well. But that was really enjoyable. I really enjoyed a look back at that. And if you want to see future stuff on the F1 games, please let me know. There's also a few more circuits we can go to now. Imola and Melbourne. Interesting. But of course, got the A1 ring, Barcelona, Indianapolis, bloody hell, the Nürburgring, Manicourt, one of my favourites. But apart from that, a lot of the circuits that are around these days. But that is going to be it for today's Retro Sundays. A quick look at EA Sports, fair enough. EA Sports F1 2001. If you want to see any other F1 titles on Retro Sundays, please feel free to let me know. And any other games you want to see, provided I have them in my collection. But as I say, if you've enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on the nostalgia of playing this title again, and subscribe for regular retro content, as well as FM and snooker content on the channel. But apart from that, thank you very much for your company today, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye for now.